Hi everybody, it's the Soap Man and Saturday morning and time to make some soap. So you're coming to me from above and you're looking at some embeds. Lots of them, different colors, different shapes. If you've watched me before, you probably know what I'm doing. Yes, it's time to do some hot process. These are soaps when I just had extra batter left over from previous batches. Sometimes I'll give them out, sometimes I'll use them myself, sometimes I'll save them for hot process. I've got quite a few here. So let's go ahead and get started. What I'm using is a fragrance oil I've never used. It's Nature's Garden. It's called Gingered Peach. Nature's Garden does not recommend it in cold process because it seizes. I've used a lot of misbehaving fragrances in hot process and it's not an issue. I'm hoping this is another one. I'm really hoping that later this evening I can go leave a review on their webpage and say this performs beautifully in hot process, and I really think it will. I'm going to attempt, I say attempt, to get sort of a peach color in the base. So the primary colors for peach are yellow and red. So I'm going to go ahead and put in 3 teaspoons, which is a little slightly high for this amount of oils, but I'm going to put in 3 teaspoons of brambleberries. No, actually I take that back, it's 3.5. Brambleberries Fizzy Lemonade. Used it for many years with good success, good luck. Brambleberries Fizzy Lemonade. And I'm going to go ahead and mix this in. This is just oils, there's no lye in here. And then I'm going to put just a splash of red, and this is Nurture Soap's Really Red. And since supposedly bleeding was an issue with this, I've never had it, but since it's all going to be one color, bleeding's not going to be an issue anyway. Let's see what this does. Yep. No, actually that is a peachy color. A little stronger than I wanted, so let's put just a splash of Tidox in it and tone it down. And there we go, that's what I was wanting. Put all this away before I make a mess, because I make enough mess making soap as it is. And let's put our very hot lye water into there. When making hot process, I generally don't worry too much about temperatures, because it's going to get hot and cook and separate anyway. And with my hot process, I like a very thick batter, very thick trace before I let it start to cook. So I might have to stick blend a while. Now the peach color's toned down. I kind of was not taking into account the fact that the lye is going to lighten, and I should have left it originally. I think I had it perfect the first time, but I'm not going to worry about it. that's good enough. I like it kind of like a gravy consistency, like a flour gravy for your mashed potatoes, to let the cook start. Okay, now everybody who's watched me knows I do my videos as a tutorial, including my hot process. There are different versions, different ways to do it. May work for you, maybe not. This is my preferred way to do it. It's a nice thick trace. I'm going to put the lid on it. It's on high because I know this crock pot really well. I'm going to let it start to cook. I'm sitting right here because you never want to leave hot process unattended in case it starts to volcano over. I'm sitting right here going to watch a movie, so I'll bring this back at the next stage. Okay, I don't have to do anything yet, but look what's happening. It's starting to cook. See it creeping up the side? It'll eventually do that, and I'll stir this in and kind of incorporate it, and then I'll have to really watch it. Not going to do anything just yet, just kind of showing you what's happening. I'll see you in a few. Okay, it's time to stir it up before it gets too far out of hand, so just kind of break it up a little bit. And then this is where it's going to get really intense because it's heating up and it's going to really start to climb on me. Or it has in the past. Sometimes I say that and it just behaves like a dream. And at this point, when I get this stirred up, this is what we call the applesauce stage because it has the consistency and the texture of applesauce. And now that that's stirred in, and the solid pieces are broken up and the heat's better distributed, it will really start to cook quickly and get into the mashed potato stage. Not long after that, it'll be in gel stage and it'll be soap. That's all I'm going to do for now. Okay, it's time to give it just a quick stir. Once again, it's behaving beautifully, but you do see it starting to climb. In the past, I have had it volcano, and I tell you, I think it is the recipe. I use the soapcalc.net calculator to do to do hot process. I use Brambleberry for cold process just because I just know it works so well for me. Soapcalc.net uses the standard for theirs is a higher percentage of water than Brambleberries, and I think it's the higher percentage of water that helps it behave better. And see, it's starting to come together. It's not quite mashed potatoes yet, but it's getting there. So I always use soapcalc.net because it uses more water. Plus, I'm losing water during the cook. But ever since I've started using hot process, that calculator for hot process, it behaves beautifully on me. Still is. Even so, never leave hot process unattended. I'll be back in a few. Okay, I haven't taken the lid off just yet. You're going to see it with me, but I can tell it's starting to climb and it needs to be stirred down some before it gets out of hand. We're probably entering the mashed potato stage now. Yeah, it needs to be calmed down a little bit. Still behaving beautifully. Yep. This is like mashed potatoes, peach-colored mashed potatoes. Just give it a good stir, get some of the air out of it, calm it down just a little bit. But this is the mashed potato stage, and it's behaving beautifully. Just look how nice and fluid it is. It's starting to get a little shine to it, which means it's starting to gel, which means it's almost cooked. I'll see you in just a few minutes. Okay, I stirred it off camera. It's quick climbing, it's shiny and glossy, it's soap. It is soap. So I'm going to pull the plug, and I hope I don't mean that in a tragic sense. But we're going to find out, see how shiny and glossy it is. It's full gel, so here we go, the moment of truth. I do believe that this is going to behave in hot process, even though it seizes in cold. Put in just a little. I've used a lot of misbehaving fragrances in hot process with zero problems. And I measured out my recipe to know that it takes this full bottle. I got a small bottle just to attempt it. Look how nice and fluid it's still staying. So I know this whole bottle is going to go in here. It's 4 ounces. Look here. It's soaking it up, absorbing it, staying nice and fluid. I mean, it's jelly, of course, but that's how hot process is when it's cooked. Stir it in. Oops. Did you see that? That's why I still have my safety gear on, still have my eyes covered. And actually, now that it's cooked and gelled, that peach cobbler turned out just the way I wanted it. And, yep, it worked. Like I thought it would. So it's time to get these embeds in before it cools down too much, because the embeds will really cool down. And make it hard to get into the mold. So need to move quickly now. That's the reason I'm leaving the crock in the hot base. And these cold process embeds are fully cured. Some of them are like way beyond cured. They've already been given out of the street ministry, so they're safe to use. Although this hot process soap will still go through a full 4-week cure time. I just like to stir and toss and turn and smash just to make sure everybody's in there and everybody's well coated. So when I cut it, I don't have embeds falling out, or I don't have blank spots. Spots that are embed heavy and spots that are embed light or no embed. So give it a good stirring. And it's ready to go into the mold. Now this is bigger than usual. I use this amount of oil for this mold normally. It's bigger than usual because of all those embeds. I'm really hoping that it will all fit in there. Let's see. Get this hot crock out of the base. Actually, you know what? I'm going to leave it in the base. It'll help me hold on to it and not burn myself. So let's get you where you can see, and yes you can. And we're just going to plop. And it's starting to thicken up, and we'll smack it on the floor. Take it like a knife and smack it on the side just to really get it down into the corner since it's so thick. smack it on the floor. We're overflowing a little bit, but I think I'll be able to get all of this in. Okay, look at that, all smoothed out. We'll smack it on the floor again. Alright, a lot of soap on there, oops, a lot of soap stuck on there, a lot of soap stuck in the crock pot. Y'all watch me, you know it's not going to waste. If you haven't, maybe you want to go back a few videos back and see how I wash dishes with this. I make cold process to wash dishes, but all this in this crock pot will do a great job doing a load of dishes by hand. So, set that out of the way. Get you up here where you can see it. Now it's still quite hot. You know, I can definitely feel the heat through my gloves. I'm just going to smack it and kind of smooth the top out a little bit. And there you have it, folks. I will be back later this afternoon to cut this. I'm just going to leave it here on the counter uncovered. Let it cool down naturally. It's hot process, so there's no alcohol needed. Soda ash is not an issue. Nature's Garden, good job. It may not be for cold process, but it's great for hot process. I will see you later this afternoon, folks. Bye. Okay, so 5 hours later, and we're back to cut the hot process soap. There's the bottom, the top. So we're going to go put it through the log splitter. Thanks again, Lisa. Oh yeah. Oh man, look how those embeds stick out against that color. A little bit warm inside, surprisingly, because the outside's not. But it's ready to cut. Oh yeah, those embeds really shine out. So, just loosen the tension on this wire. And let's get my bud cutter up here and cut these logs into some bars. Ooh, I am happy with this. Very nice. You know, a hole there, but you know, what are you going to do? It's not a big deal. one small one for me, and there we go. So I can't really move you now because the camera is anchored, but I will take a picture of all of them put together like I always do, and I'm happy with this. I'm happy with the fragrance. So, a fragrance that is not acceptable for cold process but smells great is very acceptable for hot process. That's another benefit of doing hot process soap. Folks, thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.